Before we jump into today's episode, I want to tell you about Reliht. Reliht is a brand new web and mobile app, one without distractions of social scrolling and chat. If you're a content creator, coach, mentor, writer, author, teacher, or leader, Reliht gives you a dedicated space to capture what God is speaking, organize your content, and share it with those you lead. Ready to create and share God notes with your followers? As a special launch welcome, sign up is free through September 1st, 2026. Visit reliht.com to get started today. That's spelled Reliht, no G. Welcome to the Hope Unlocked podcast. I'm Kristin, Kurtz, your host. I pray this episode is like a holy IV of hope for your soul. Please help me welcome Rick and Jane McKinney to the show. So excited to have them here today. If you're not watching on video, you will see that we have a beautiful couple here. I had a chance to just chat a little bit before we got started, and I just know that they are going to bring so much power and insight to you guys. They've lived a full, blessed life, I can already tell. So we thank you for that. Thank you for being here. So before we get into your story and, the works that you're doing now, would you just tell us maybe a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I'm
And
Jane.
it's a hard question because it's like, well, how do I encapsulate? But I love people to speak it out.
I will try.
Okay.
My name's Jane McKinney, and I was born in Oklahoma, and I was saved, accepted the Lord when I was 6 years old. I was raised in church, Christian home, and I also surrendered my life to full-time Christian service at Glorieta Christian Camp for Families in New Mexico when I was 10 years old. And when I went down front, the lady said, "Are you coming to be a missionary?" And I said, "No, I think I'm supposed to be a pastor's wife." And she said, "I never heard that before." And I said, "Pretty sure that's what I was 10 years old. And I knew that that's what I was going to be. And so I went to Oklahoma Baptist University, and my life changed the second week of school when, as an 18-year-old, I met a 16-year-old young man who became my husband. So you want to take it from there?
Oh, incredible.
I was also raised in a Christian home. My father was a pastor for 55 years. He has an extremely interesting story. Came from a non-Christian family in Harlan County, Kentucky. His dad was a coal miner. His grandfather was a coal miner. Very rough, alcoholic, bootlegger during Prohibition.
Okay.
My grandmother made home brew in the kitchen. They lived in a little shanty most of the time. They were sharecroppers as well. And so one Sunday, my dad was invited to a church from the African-American folks literally on the other side of the tracks.
Okay.
And he jumped into the back of this pickup truck with all these black kids. My dad was what they called a towhead. He was white-headed, very, very fair. Yeah. And I can't imagine what that looked like with him popped out of the middle of all those black faces.
Yeah.
But he went off to church with them that day and heard about Jesus for the first time and kept going to church and eventually accepted Christ. God called him to preach, and he moved from Harlan County to Cincinnati, and that's where he met my mom, and she had moved from Corbin, Kentucky. So we're kind of back home in Kentucky. Where my roots are. And so I surrendered to preach at 14 years old. Since Dad was a pastor, he let me preach on Wednesday nights and Sunday nights. By the time I was 16 and going to college, I preached every night of the summer except for one. I preached youth revivals and all kinds of youth meetings. And I even preached my way to college, preached a revival in Lone Jack, Missouri on my way to Oklahoma. And I drove a 64 VW bus out there. I was a hippie wannabe. Mom and Dad would never let me be a hippie. I tried to fake it as much as I could. And the second week of our freshman year, I was walking home with a couple friends from a football game, and Jane was sitting on a bench with her friend, and she had been told there were three of us from Ohio, that one was 16, one was 18, one was 24. And she wanted the 24-year-old before she saw us. And so
I thought he was when I came
walking along,
he's very mature.
Okay.
I was already losing my hair.
He had facial hair.
Surely he's the 24-year-old.
Yeah, right.
He gave me a tangerine Lifesaver, and that was the end.
That was it. That's all it took.
She went after we talked a couple hours that night. She went in and told her RA that she just met the man she was going to marry.
I did.
And so we've been together ever since. We've been married 52 years this coming Sunday.
Oh,
And
congratulations.
we got married between our sophomore and junior year in college. I was 18, and everybody said it wouldn't last.
That's what they said.
But God's good. It's been amazing. And we've been in ministry together all of that time. So,
oh my gosh. Well, let me just first say I've never heard of anybody like basically proposing with a tangerine lifesaver. That was like what got you.
Yeah, that's what
That's
got
pretty
me.
cool. So do you guys
And
keep lifesavers around at the least
we did.
to
We did
remember?
for a while. Actually, one church gave us a whole bowl of them, which
Yeah.
we kept for a while.
you have to special order the
You have to
tangerine
special
now.
order
No,
that.
I've never seen those before.
And they're really
I
good.
tell all my students at college that the girls, I tell the females, I say, if you want a guy, get you some tangerine lifesavers. They're evidently something very magical.
There's something sweet about it. Wow. Well, and then too, like I just want to capture, Jane, you were very young when
I
you
was
10
I was
to
yes, I
know.
was 10 years old. We had been at this camp all week. It's a wonderful camp, and it's not a Christian camp anymore. It's still there. And we
Okay.
actually went back because when he was 12, his family went there from Ohio. And so we've both been to Glorieta. And anyway, it's in New Mexico. So we went back well, probably 6 years ago.
And we both went back to that old auditorium where we made those decisions.
Because he made a decision there too. But it's a wonderful Christian camp. And you go to classes and they teach, the parents go and they go to classes like for Sunday school or for children's ministry, different things like that. They did back then. And so the kids just went to classes, and I don't know, I just felt God tug on my heart. And when I went down, and she said missionary, and I said, no, no, I don't want to be a missionary.
Right.
I don't know. I just knew. And that's just part of my story. Yeah.
So like most kids would have walked up with that intent of missionary, and you had
a girl would have, yes.
You had a completely different vision pathway.
Right, because boys could go down and say they want to be a pastor or, whatever boys did back then. This was in the 60s. So, so when girls went down, they couldn't be anything but missionaries, I guess.
Wow. Unfortunately. I guess I'm kind of curious between that age of 10 and then 18, like, was there any like doubts, questioning, like, or did you were just fully like locked in, this is what I'm doing?
I'm not even sure it fully crossed my mind again.
Oh.
I mean, I was a Christian. I went to church, but it was pretty just normal stuff. Just go on Sunday, go to school, in Oklahoma, we have Falls Creek, which is a huge Christian camp. So in the summers, we went to Falls Creek. Everybody, rededicated their life at Falls Creek, and then you went back to your own life. I mean, that's just how it was.
Yeah.
Until when I, met Rick and we started dating and we started having Bible study together. That's when my life really became dedicated.
Okay.
And when I was 13, I remember going down and rededicating my life again. I had many times, when you're a kid, you just feel God tugging at your heart. Yeah. And so, the message speaks to you, whatever. But until we really started doing Bible study together and getting kind of in depth into some stuff, he really taught me a ton when we first met. We had Bible studies together, and he had been in the Bible so much more than me, and just, kind of brought me along. And I mean, I knew we were going to be together. So.
Ever hear something on this show that stirs something deep, like a nudge from God that there's more? That's stirring. It's not random. I'm Kristin Kurtz, host of Hope Unlocked and the founder of New Wings Coaching. And I'm inviting you into a 45-minute unlocking session, a sacred space to press in, hear what heaven is saying, and activate your next bold step. If you're a trailblazer or kingdom voice ready to break free from doubt and live fully alive, this is for you. Book now at newwingscoaching.net/hopeunlocked for special listener pricing. You were born to live uncaged and unapologetically bold. Now back to the show.
But I did go through that transition. I was also saved at a very young age, first grade. But, I'd heard the gospel since before I was born. Dad being a preacher, you just,
In the womb.
and I knew, I remember very clearly at 5 and 6 years old, hearing the message and knowing that Jesus loved me and I needed to respond somehow.
Mhm.
And then I became a very nominal Christian.
Yeah.
Just went to church because Dad was a preacher and didn't read my Bible much, didn't pray much unless I was in trouble. I used to make deals with God all the time. I was always a chubby kid, and we didn't call it chubby back then. We called it husky. And so
Plus, let me add, he got into a lot of trouble.
I did.
He was a very ornery child.
I used to make deals with God. And
Were you the oldest?
I remember I would
Yeah,
weigh,
both of us.
I would weigh myself, and I was so much bigger than all the other kids. And I would say, God, if you'll just make me skinny, I'll do anything you want me to do. He never made me skinny, but I still did what he wanted me to do.
There you go.
Kept my end of the bargain.
Yeah. Oh my
I
God.
mean, he set his kitchen curtains on fire with a rocket, tied up one of his teachers and put her in the closet. I mean, yeah.
Most of it was mischievous stuff rather than evil stuff.
Yeah.
Right. It was like you're just testing the waters, right?
I was just
Doing something.
My mom was very mischievous, and
Was he?
I think that I got.
So you learned it from her.
Yeah.
Now my dad was straight as an arrow. He would, But
Oh my gosh.
anyway, when I was 13, we had a group of young people come from Texas,
Mhm.
and they stayed all week. They had been they were kind of in that Jesus movement thing that was happening in Texas in the 70s.
Mhm.
And so when I was 13, actually, it would have been the late 60s, we spent a week with them, and I knew I was a Christian. I knew I believed.
Yeah.
I still believe that. I still believe if I'd have died at that point, I'd have gone straight to heaven.
Mhm.
But I also knew that they had something that I didn't have.
Mm.
And at the end of the week, they put on a Christian contemporary musical. My whole youth group was there.
Oh.
And when they gave the altar call, I went forward. And I said, I don't know what you guys have got. I don't know what it is that makes you different, but I need it. I want it. And my life was drastically changed. My whole youth group went forward that night and made an unbelievable difference in our lives. We just became fireballs for Jesus, and everything changed for me. I couldn't talk about anything but Jesus. I don't know exactly what people call that experience a lot of different things. And to me, it doesn't matter what label you put on it.
Yeah.
Because it revolutionized my life.
Absolutely.
And it was a year later when God called me to preach. But our youth group became so on fire from God. When we began our last year in high school, I graduated a year early, but when we began our last year in high school, just a few of us were Christians. We had 104 people in our graduating class. It was a small school.
Yeah.
And by graduation night, we could count 100 people who were Christians. This, again, was during the height of the Jesus movement. It was so powerful. And my best friend was the class president. He spoke at graduation and gave a sermon, really. My dad was asked to speak. That's back when they had the baccalaureate service during the graduation. He preached. And then all of the high school teachers selected me to be the faculty representative, and I got to speak. And people left the graduation that night and said it felt more like they'd been to a revival service than a graduation.
And this was a public school?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes, public school. Yeah.
Wow.
School.
Wow. What a stark difference, right?
Those people, I'm still friends with many of them on Facebook.
Yeah.
They are very famous preachers. Dutch Sheets. I went to high school with Dutch Sheets.
Oh, yeah, Dutch.
A great.
Yeah.
And he has a twin brother.
Tim,
yeah,
his
Tim.
brother.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so
Love
I graduated with them. Carol, Tim's wife, Carol, was a cheerleader in our senior class. And so those are all people that I had association with and have become great men and women of God. And so there was just something special that God did in that group of people, turned our lives upside down. And I was never the same. I mean, I never have been the same. It's never gone away. It's never faded. I've tried to walk
fire
away.
has continued to.
I've tried to walk away from preaching a few times, or at least from pastoring. very hard life, very difficult, a lot of hurts, a lot of wounds,
Hard on wives.
hard on pastors' wives. We tried a couple of times to walk away and do something else for God. We weren't mad at God. You're just kind of aggravated with God's people.
Sure. Yeah. People are very people-y sometimes, aren't they?
Very people-y.
Jane reminds me every time I take a pastorate, they're just people.
Remember, they're people.
I'm an eternal optimist, so I always think it's going to be different.
Yeah.
And Jane
People
reminds me
have
that
to remember, like, people aren't the enemy is the enemy, right?
Right,
And
right.
it's the people that are like the sandpaper to us to help us get a little smoother, and it takes
But
a while.
honestly, some of the meanest people I've ever known in my life are church people. And I think there's reasons.
Maybe you could talk a little bit about this. I did want to capture something really quick that you went from setting curtains to fire to setting people on fire for the Lord, right? Can we just capture that today? I just wanted to say that. Okay. Just had to capture that.
That's a book title. I don't know.
I know. From setting the curtains on fire, you got fired up. So tell us if you would just be completely, I don't know, I feel like we need to go here a little bit, just completely, not that you wouldn't be honest, but just really kind of open up the curtains to what you've experienced in, pastoring, being a pastor's wife. Obviously, you don't need to tell people's names of what exactly you've experienced, but maybe share from your perspective, because as you've probably seen out on social media, like there's a lot of, church hurt, right? And I think it would be great for people to even come from the perspective of, okay, let's hear it from the people who are really doing their best, right? Like following the Lord. And I can only imagine the arrows that you've taken and you're still standing. So would you guys be open to sharing a little bit about that?
I'm going to let him talk mostly, but I just want to say one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I may cry, but the most astounding thing to me, Kristin, is when God is working and people are getting saved and the church clamps it down. And in one instance, fires their pastor for no reason. After he had just baptized 4 adults the day before. Okay, that's all I'm going to say, or I'm going to get upset.
Yeah.
And I think looking back at it from as neutral a position as I can,
sure,
I really think that these kinds of church folks feel like they're doing the right thing. I don't think they're trying to be evil. I don't think they're demon possessed necessarily. I think they're good people who believe that their job, that their duty as church members is to keep the status quo, because they see the status quo as the standard. So if grandma sang from a hymn book, we shouldn't sing off the wall because grandma sang from a hymn book. If we had Sunday night church when grandpa was here, then we need to have Sunday night church. And so these things that churches do become enshrined. They become
these traditions.
The traditions become holy. And so when somebody disturbs that, he becomes the enemy. So that's what we've experienced in church. For instance, the one that Jane just referred to was a church that we went to that was no spirit, very controlled by a small group of people whose grandfathers had started the church.
Okay.
And so the church grew. I'm the kind of pastor, and I always tell churches this before I go, look, if I become your pastor, what's going to happen is we're going to grow because I'm going to love people. And it's not going to be church people who come. It's going to be tattooed, pierced, crazy looking people who've never been in church before, families whose kids don't know how to act in church, people who don't know how to dress or smell right for church, but they're people that need Jesus. And when that begins to happen, that makes church people very uncomfortable. It happened during the Jesus movement. I was a part of that. And if you've ever seen the movie Jesus Revolution,
I was just thinking about that. Yeah.
That's exactly how it was. I was
like the ragamuffins, right?
Yeah,
we don't want people barefoot in our church. They're ruining the carpet, whatever it happens to be. And I experienced that with a church that I was going to a Jesus movement meeting at every Monday night, where the pastor ultimately lost his job because people were coming to church in their sandals and blue jeans and
Overalls.
So I think that these folks are people who believe they're guarding what's important.
Okay.
They don't understand that
Yeah.
the culture of the church has to reach the culture in which they exist. And if they don't, they die. I went to a church once and it was mostly people in their 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
Very few children, very few, if any, teenagers. And I told them before I came, I said, if the church is going to survive, you've got to reach some younger people. You've got to do whatever it takes to get some young families and kids and teenagers.
Yeah.
And their response was, we're not concerned about the long-term health of the church. We just want the church to be here long enough for us to have our funeral here.
People actually said that.
They actually said that.
Might cross my eyes.
Yeah.
Another church I was at, the deacons would all go away together to Florida for the winter. And when they came back one year, the church had doubled in size. We'd gone to 2 services. We'd added a contemporary service, all that. And one of the gentlemen actually stood up in the middle of the church service and said, if you new people think you're going to run our church, you've got another thing coming. So this is the kind of thing that hurts. And it hurts because it hurts the heart of God. So it hurts the heart of the shepherd. But then when people take that to the next level and say, we're going to attack you, or we're going to accuse you, or we're going to attack your wife, we're going to say things about her or your kids. I had a man one time just yell out across the church building and call my middle daughter stupid because he didn't like what she was doing. And I mean, these are things that really happened. And so, there comes a point at which you just say, I don't know if it makes sense. It's kind of like a wife who stays with an abusive husband.
Right. It's like
at some point you say, you really need to get out of the situation.
Right.
Anyway, that's in a nutshell. That's what
we honestly moved to Kentucky is kind of home with the idea. It was 6 years ago. So we were in our late 60s, mid 60s, and with the idea of retiring from the ministry. He was already teaching college online, and he was offered position to teach in seat. And so we moved here, and I told him, I said, I don't want to be a pastor's wife anymore. I just can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
And of course, he, when you're called to preach, Kristin, and it's like, I don't even know what it's like. But when you're called to preach, you just can't not do it, apparently.
Right. Well, it's in your DNA, right? When you're called to it, it's
so
definitely in your spiritual DNA.
Yeah.
So he started taking, little opportunities to preach here and there. And before long, this little church asked him to be their pastor. We hadn't even been here a year.
Just a few months.
And I said, gosh, do I have to go?
Do I have to go?
But
let me tell you how that happened. So we came here. We were going to retire from the ministry. We found a new doctor. Went to the doctor, and she is checking my heart. And she says, have you ever seen a cardiologist? And I said, do I need to see a cardiologist? And she said, well, let me do an EKG. So they did an EKG. She came back in and said, I'm calling the cardiologist and see if I can get you in tomorrow. So I go to the cardiologist, and he tells me I have this heart issue that I haven't been aware of. He says I may have had it since I was born, and that I'm going to have surgery. It's not like clogged veins or anything, but it's something to do with the mechanics of your heart. So I was really scared. Really not afraid to die, but just, didn't want
It's kind of shocking, right?
You just don't want to,
unexpected.
So we were attending a church in the town where the college is where I teach. And I had already resigned myself to not preaching anymore. I was on the way home that day, and I just sensed that God was speaking to my heart and saying, "Are you done? Are you done preaching?"
Mm.
And I said, "I want to be done."
Mm.
And he said, "Well, if you're done and you're not going to fulfill the calling that I put on your heart, why don't I just take you home?"
In the car on the way home. This is happening.
And it wasn't mean. It wasn't mean. I really sensed that God was being loving,
Mm.
you know? He wasn't going to kill me because he was being mean.
Right.
He was doing a very loving gesture.
Yeah.
If you can't do this anymore, let me just bring you home. You've done a great job. You've had a great life, ministered to a lot of people. Let me just bring you home.
Mm.
And I said, "No, I'm not ready. I got to preach."
Yeah.
And that afternoon, I was sitting here in this living room
Mm.
watching an old pastor of mine preach online.
Mm-hmm.
And he was preaching about healing.
Mm.
And at the end, he said, "Wherever you need healing, put your hand." I put my hand on my heart, and he prayed. And as soon as he was done praying, I knew I was healed.
Oh.
And the next day, I went and took 4 hours worth of tests,
Yeah.
electrocardiograms and echograms and dye into my veins and treadmills and special cameras and all that kind of stuff. And the next day, the doctor said, "I don't know what happened. There's nothing wrong with your heart."
Oh my gosh. Wow.
And I knew it was because I had said yes to God. I knew it was because if I wasn't done, then he wasn't done.
Yeah.
And I couldn't be.
And you couldn't be there.
And Jane's thinking, "Why didn't you just take him on home?
Oh my
I don't have to be a pastor's wife anymore." No, she really wasn't thinking that. But,
Oh,
it's just, God is so amazing and
yeah.
so good. And he loves us so much. And I think he calls us to do things and he wants us, but he won't force us
Yeah.
to do those things. And my opinion is if we can't do it with a willing heart,
Mm.
then it doesn't do much good.
Yeah.
And so here I am pastoring again. Just had our 1 year anniversary at this new church.
Oh, congratulations.
They were just about gone. Hadn't
Really?
they not had some endowments from people who passed away, they would have closed. COVID just about killed them. Big,
Wow.
beautiful building. It holds 200 or 300 people. Stained glass, just
Man.
gorgeous.
15 people.
Yeah, about 12 or
Yeah.
15 people. And I said, "I'll go for as long as I can." I told him when I said, "Look, I'm 70 years old. I may not be here more than 2 or 3 years." But anyway, we just celebrated our first anniversary. They were so gracious, so kind. We've been running a couple of weeks ago. We had 48.
Which
I think
is
we had 40 Sunday,
good.
which is great for starting a year ago with 15.
I mean,
Just been
like-
gracious.
And it's a lot of new people. I mean, it's not like the old people came back. It's
yeah.
new people.
Oh, I got a story I want to tell you, but I won't take a lot of time. I'll make
Tell
it
us the
real
story.
short.
You
I'll
have to
make it
tell
real
us the
short.
story. You can't do that.
It's a fabulous
have to
story.
tell
He already
us.
knows what I'm going to tell.
I do. I know.
So
Okay.
many years ago, we were pastoring in Kentucky. We were on our way to the hospital to visit somebody.
Okay, you got to add. This is the church where the man stood up and said, "If these new people are going to take over."
Okay.
It's
So
the church.
we're on our way to the
Okay.
hospital.
After church.
Jane has a dress on because that's, it was a dress church, not a jeans church.
Okay.
So we see this motorcycle in the middle of the road, just
Yeah.
sitting there. And so we started looking around and we could see a motorcycle off the road. Anyway, long story short, we got out. Jane jumped down in the ditch. There's this man in there bleeding, barely breathing. She grabs his hand. Later on, we found out he had a broken
His finger was broken, and I was.
You're like, yeah.
She was down here with her dress on, praying for him. I still remember the dress she had on.
I do too.
And we started ministering to him. He wasn't a Christian, completely covered in tattoos. He owned the pool hall, motorcycle guy, not church, not Christian at all.
Yeah.
And he had a 12-year-old son who was just beside himself because his daddy was riding on the bicycle with his mom. And
She was off on trying to get a signal, trying to call somebody.
Back when cell signals were hard to get.
Holding the phone
Okay.
up.
Yeah.
So anyway, Jane went and sat with this 12-year-old boy in the car to calm him down and prayed with him and talked to him. His name was Joe. His dad's name was also Joe.
Okay.
So anyway, over the course of the next year, we just ministered to him. We went and mowed his grass because he survived. He was in a body cast, broken bones. He was a mess.
We actually went up to Lexington to the hospital thinking we might not even see him again, but he was alive. Yeah.
And so he recovered. But during the time, we'd take him chicken to the house. I went one night, took a bucket of chicken, and I took my youth director with me. And when we came out, he said, "You didn't talk about Jesus." I said, "No, but I was Jesus," which is a whole lot more important than talking about him.
Yes.
And so my last Sunday at that church, I baptized Joe the biker, and his mother. It's one of my fondest memories. Well, we go to this church, and
now that where we are now.
And we notice that we're seeing the son's Joe's stuff on Facebook.
Young Joe, who is
the
now
son.
The 12-year-old,
who is now 30 years old, married with 2 little children.
So we started seeing his stuff. So we invited him to come to church. They live an hour away from our church building, and for the last 6 weeks, they've been there every Sunday. They drive an hour every week, and they are just glued to the word. So excited. Hopefully going to be baptized soon. And their kids are great and going to kids' church. And 12 years. 12 years. So you never know.
Because he's 30 now.
Oh,
Yeah,
18 years.
18 years ago, this happened.
So,
and
you never know. Those seeds
and
sow.
your yes, literally, like your yes to go into the ditch, your yes to go back into maybe what felt like a ditch, coming back into pastoring, right? Sometimes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But your yes, just saying. But I mean, I always like to say, like, our yes has generational implications. We really don't. We won't always see, like, we don't always get to see it here, but we know that he's going to show us later. Like, especially those, I think they're really the challenging yeses where you're like, really, God, you want me to go back in? And Jane, you're like,
yes, really. And it's 45 minutes it's a 45-minute drive for us.
Is it really?
Yes. And I'm teaching, during the day, come home on Wednesday night, and I've taken over the kids ministry.
Oh my gosh.
On Wednesday night, and I have all these plans, and I have 7, 8 kids sometimes, which is a lot, at once, trying to corral and do
for a 72-year-old woman
and do crafts after.
Well, I was going to ask,
after a long day of teaching, and God is just good. I walk out and I'm exhausted, but God is just.
Yeah, I'm 70, Jane's 72.
I'm 72.
Well, I wanted the listeners to hear this because, there's our world would often say, like, 65, just go retire and kick up your feet and
let me just say, when you've been a pastor, you don't have retirement much, if any. And
you can't live on Social Security, I guarantee you.
Because we haven't put enough back. And financially, God is good, but we have to keep working. There's no retirement in our future, which is fine.
We don't mind.
No,
I wouldn't want to just do nothing.
Yeah.
I don't know if I mentioned or not. We have 2 craft businesses. I do woodworking and make silver jewelry.
I'm a quilter.
And she's a quilter. We do that.
If you guys aren't on video, you can't see the beautiful quilt. You'll have to get over on YouTube and check it out. So can people buy your items, like, if they don't live near you?
Yeah, we both have Facebook pages. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, let's capture that really quick. What are your Facebook pages?
Mine's Jane's Creations.
Jane's Creations. Okay.
Teal banner with a quilt square.
Okay. I'll add that to the show notes.
Okay. Mine's Old Hippie Woodworking.
Oh, I love it.
And there's a VW bus in my logo.
Old Hippie Woodworking.
But he also makes jewelry out of silverware.
Oh, really?
There's another Facebook page for that.
And what is that Facebook page?
Silver Reimagined.
Silver Reimagined. I
make spoon rings and necklaces and
bracelets, stuff like that out of silverware. So
So can I ask you a question about that really quick?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I want to go here for a second. So I talk to a lot of people who have like a creative, bent in them, that they've got a lot going on. They're moms and wives
Right.
and business and all the things. And I feel like there's so many people that have this creative bend in them, but they just have kind of let it go to the background. What would you say to somebody? Because you guys have a full
Oh,
plate.
yeah.
How do
Um,
you make time for it? Like how does
Quilting,
that
yeah,
work?
quilting and sewing is kind of my outlet where I
Okay.
can just go in my room and I may just spend a couple of hours. I
Okay.
may not get in there for several days, but it's just something I like to do. I've sewed since I was a child,
Okay.
took home ec in school, learned how to make my own clothes back
Oh,
then. In Oklahoma, we had home ec and,
yeah.
so I even made him shirts, made him a suit jacket after, yeah, and made one of my bridesmaids' dresses. I mean, so I was quite the sewer
Yeah.
and kind of let it go, made a few
Mhm.
things for the kids. Being a mom, I was busy. And then
Yeah.
about 30 years ago, a friend of ours offered a quilt class.
Oh.
And me and his dad took the class. His dad was
Oh,
also
fun.
a sewer and he had kind of let it go. He actually made my wedding dress. His
Oh,
dad
wow.
did. So we took the quilting class together and we both became quilters after that. So, which is
Amazing.
another whole story about his
Yeah.
dad and
Wow.
quilting. But
Yeah.
so that's kind of my creative outlet. But then now I do creative things with the kids too at church. So
That's
I get to use
amazing.
my creative stuff.
Yeah. So
For
good.
me, I think it's not as enjoyable as it is for Jane,
Yeah.
but it's therapy for me because
Mm,
most everything I do, the results are hard to see.
that's
You
good.
witness and you share and you preach, and a lot of times you don't see visible results.
Yeah.
I can take a spoon and make a ring out of it, and I say, I did this.
Yeah.
So there's that.
That's so
Got
good.
to
Yeah.
tell you about the quilting though. My dad was I'm sorry, honey.
Okay.
My dad became this wonderful quilter. He had a big quilt rack. And when my mom went in a nursing home, she had all kinds of issues. My
Yeah.
dad would go every morning at 7 o'clock when they got her out of bed. He set up his quilting frame in her room in the nursing home. And
Oh.
he would stay with her till they put her in bed at night. And he would quilt all day. He made quilts for the aides and he made quilts when they had babies. And he would just
Oh.
quilt all the time. And
Oh.
so when he passed away, he had a brain tumor
Mhm.
and passed away when he was 78.
Mm.
We asked everybody he'd made a quilt for to bring them to the funeral, and we
Yeah.
displayed them all over the stage. And then we had the quilting frame that he was working on when he passed away and the quilt that was not finished there on the stage. And I preached his funeral, which
Yeah.
was not expected. The man he had always said he wanted to preach wasn't available to come. So I
Oh.
preached his funeral and I preached a sermon called Unfinished Quilt, that all of us have this unfinished business that we need to take care of.
Mm.
And it was an amazing thing.
It
My dad was
amazing.
an amazing man. Loved Jesus more than anybody I ever knew in my life.
Oh my gosh.
My
Wow.
mom
I'm just
too.
imagining like how many quilts were there? Were you just
Oh,
floored by how many quilts
I
there
don't
were?
know. And probably a lot of
50,
maybe 50, I don't know.
and the church was packed. I mean, people came from every church he had ever pastored, except for the one in New York.
Yeah.
Right. His dad was a pioneer missionary, was what they called them.
Oh, wow.
And Rick spent 5 years in New York, and nobody
Okay.
was able to come from New York. But every other church he had pastored, there were people there.
Wow.
And it was fantastic. Just
Oh my gosh. What is like what a legacy, right?
Yeah.
His yes.
I actually got to go back and pastor some of those people later
Mhm.
when I started pastoring.
Yeah.
And I went back to the same town where I grew up and
Yeah.
pastored some of those same
There.
people.
Yeah.
It's a
Oh
very
my gosh.
good experience.
So how many years have you been pastoring in total at this point?
Well, pastoring 50, but we took 7 years of that and we did full-time evangelism. So I was
Okay.
still preaching and ministering. We did children's ministry. We both have music majors. Our undergraduate degrees are music.
Mhm.
And so we did concerts. We've made several CDs and
Okay.
Same too.
What do you not do?
we did puppet ministry. Jane did ballooning. I did illusions.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh
We
my
had
gosh.
some of the greatest. We had 30, 40 puppets, big puppet stage. We actually have puppets. We still have puppets made by a man named David Panabecker who worked with Jim Henson with the Muppets.
They're
Really?
So
they're
we have,
Muppet style puppets.
yeah,
Okay.
you tell him what you want and he
Yeah.
made them special for you. So
Oh my
We
gosh.
sold most of our puppets, but we could not
Okay.
part with those because they were actually, we have an old couple that at the time didn't look like us at all, but now it does. now, now they look like
Really?
us. They have
Oh,
gray
how
hair.
cute. I
we
love
did
it.
we did our own puppet voices, and I do something called illustrated sermons where I do a sermon in costume.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a biblical character, but most often it's a contemporary character that
Okay.
I do a homeless person, or I did somebody in a wheelchair once. I borrowed a coffin once, and I was a contemporary Peter. I went and wept over the closed casket, and then we rigged the casket so we could open the lid and the light inside for the resurrection. And so
Oh, wow.
I'm
Oh,
a creative person,
Yeah,
you guys are amazing.
so
but
creative.
I'm
it's
like,
all about storytelling. My doctorate degree is actually in
yeah.
storytelling.
Yeah,
Um,
it is. Like
so
storytelling
uh,
it's
Yeah.
so powerful. It's sharing stories, right? And I'm sure, do you have maybe any testimonials of maybe even children or adults that have heard your storytelling that it actually, because I'm a very like visual person, hearing, seeing, like if something's on video, like that's why I like the chosen, I can't say it, the chosen, like watching the Bible like come to life, or movies that are about, the Bible and Jesus and the disciples, and just watching them see their personalities. Do you have any testimonials
yeah,
of something
I
that
use tons of videos. I use tons of videos in my
do?
services because I'm
Okay.
a visual learner. That's
Yeah.
how I learn.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can just tell you that all of our people at our church will tell you, and I think I'm a pretty good preacher, but all of our people in our church will tell you that their very favorite part of the service is my children's sermons.
Oh, wow.
Because my children's sermons, they're object lessons, but they're stories.
Yeah.
I tell
Yeah.
stories. I found out a long time ago that when I would preach, I would
Mhm.
start telling a story
Yeah.
and people would start paying attention.
Perk up.
They would zone out when you're preaching. But as soon as you start telling a story, all of a sudden it's like they wake up and they listen to the story, which is why Jesus told parables.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus
Yeah.
didn't preach sermons, he told stories.
Right.
And that's why, because there's some great quotes about stories, but one of the great quotes is that we are by nature storytellers. We
Yeah.
even dream stories.
Hmm.
All night long, we tell ourselves stories.
Yeah.
And so that's how God made us, because it is all a story,
Hmm.
beginning to end. That's what Genesis to Revelation is. It's one
Mhm.
big story, and
Mhm.
that's how he made us. And so we relate to stories, and I
Yeah.
love stories.
We
Yeah.
haven't even talked about our book.
Well, I wanted to get there, but
Okay.
can I first make
Yeah,
a pit stop?
I was just going to say we have story after story.
Yeah, we're going to make sure I'm
Okay.
absolutely capturing that, because that's one part you haven't told us, that you guys are
know.
writers and have the authority,
We
right?
are that, yeah.
So I just wanted to ask for each of you, who is your favorite Bible person? Like who really has maybe kept you on path? Because I have some myself that I'm like, oh, you're my person. You really help me keep on this narrow road and challenging road that the Lord has me on at
You
times.
mean actual biblical person?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Mhm.
I know mine, so I'll go first.
No,
Okay.
let me go because
Okay, you go.
3. Probably Paul.
Okay.
We're reading Acts and now Romans, and I just love how his turnaround and
Yeah.
how he changed. But as far as women, because I think it's important for women to have a woman
Yeah.
character. I have 2, Ruth and Esther, and I love both of their stories so much. I can't get away from For Such a Time as This. I
know,
can't.
right?
I just
I
can't
know.
get away from it. And then
Yeah.
Ruth, and I just taught Ruth last Wednesday night to the kids, so it's very fresh. And at the end of the lesson, one of the little boys said to me, Ruth said, and not prompted or anything, Ruth said, Where you go, I will go. Where you live, I will live. And who is your God will be my God. It's Jack, little Jack.
Little boy said this.
Little boy.
How old?
Totally. What is he? 7?
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally unprompted. We had just had the lesson. We had watched a video and it was quoted,
Yeah.
But it stuck with him. And that's just so powerful,
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. Now you.
Okay. Mine is an unexpected one. Mine is King Hezekiah,
Okay.
who is just a fabulous figure in the Old Testament. His father was horrible. His son was horrible. He was this great king between these two horrible people. And he did a lot of things. He's responsible for Hezekiah's tunnel and all those kinds of things. But my favorite part of the story is he was sick. And the prophet came to tell him he was going to die. And the Bible says that he faced the wall and he asked God. Actually, he made a case to God. He said, God, I've tried to do the right thing. I've tried to serve you. Please heal me. And God stopped the prophet before he got out of the palace and said, go back and tell him he's going to live 15 more years.
Yeah.
And I tell that story in my Old Testament class. And so it has led me, the first time I realized that, I prayed. I was 68 years old.
Okay.
I said, God, give me 15 more years.
Oh.
I want to preach for 15 more years.
Yeah.
And then I'll lay down and come home. But give me 15 years. And I got home and told Jane that. She said, why didn't you pray for 25? I said, because I don't want to be 93. I just want to be 83 and go home.
I mean, gosh, can you imagine being 93 though? Like what a testimony, right?
Well, my mother was 92.
Yeah.
And she was one of the most incredible women in the world. And we probably don't have time for this story, but I'll make it short. I promise.
You can share if you are led to.
Okay.
You've got plenty of time here.
My daddy left us when I was 12. Like I said, I was raised in a Christian home. He was our church music leader, and he walked out on us. So embarrassing. I was 12. I had 3 younger siblings. We had to leave the church. We went to a different church. I mean, it was horrible. It was a horrible time in our life.
Yeah.
My mom had never worked. She did not drive. Yeah. And my papa took her downtown Oklahoma City to get welfare. She thought that was her only answer. And they just didn't know what to do with a single woman with 4 children in the 60s. Yeah. They gave her a job. She got a job in the city of Oklahoma City in the water department.
Yeah.
Papa took her to work until she learned how to drive and helped her buy a car. She raised us 4 kids. She retired from the city of Oklahoma City as one of the 3 buyers of the city, which is a huge position, bought everything for the city. And she did not give up. She kept going to church. She went everywhere. She drove everywhere. We finally had to put her in a home, and she was a witness there. I mean, just an amazing woman. And she was 92. And that's my goal.
Oh my gosh.
But I hope he's with me.
When they started going through her finances at the end, her brother was going to do this, and she was never a rich person, but always very frugal.
Very frugal.
I mean, she'd go get a hamburger and divide it in 4s and eat a 4th each day.
Seriously.
Wow.
And so she was very frugal. Anyway, when they started going through her finances to try to get everything in order before she passed away, they found out that the year before she had given $50,000 away to missionaries and organizations.
She helped missions and missionaries all over the world. And when we did her funeral, they had people would televise in, streaming, and talk about her and the people that she had helped in Africa. And I mean, it was just Us kids didn't even know that.
I was going to say, and you had no idea.
Well, we knew she was giving her money away.
You're like,
but
you didn't know, you didn't get to see that tangible.
No, we didn't.
Paid for people to go to college and seminary so that they could study for the ministry.
Yeah.
Just amazing.
Just incredible.
Wow.
We come, I always tell people, you stand on the shoulders of those who came before you. And Jane and I have the wonderful legacy of our parents and she later reconciled with her dad. I don't want to leave that story untold.
I did.
And that's one of the things I kind of encouraged her and helped her.
In that because
I said,
really cut him off. I don't have anything to do with it.
I said, I don't know what he did. And it's,
I don't even know what he did except he left us,
But I said, you got to reconcile with him. And he actually sang at our wedding.
He did.
Really?
Oh, he had a beautiful voice. Yes.
And did you know that he had a beautiful voice?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He always sang
okay.
He was the church music leader. Yeah.
Okay.
So
you remembered.
But, she reconciled with him and I got to know him some and it was awesome. But God can't use you to the fullest if you have those kinds of situations in your life that you don't take care of. And
absolutely.
That's tough sometimes, especially in that situation.
Yeah, it is. I've walked through it myself. And when I got saved from addiction when I was 25, I didn't grow up in church, and I won't share my whole story here, but one of the first things that really God got a hold of me when I was separated from my family was, forgive lest you be forgiven. And it was just this, I knew I had to go forgive my parents in order for my life to be fully recovered and transformed. So what would you say to somebody maybe today who's listening in and their heart's kind of tugging a little bit hearing this, from both of our sides here? I know how challenging it is, and I'm sure you remember, aspects of that, but what came of that? Did you feel a release? Like, was there?
I did. I felt, and it was wonderful to be back with my daddy again, to have him back again, to forgive him.
Yeah.
And even now, when I talk about how hard it was, that part's gone, even though it makes me sad that it happened to us. It made all of us stronger. My next sister is an amazing witness for the Lord. Her husband also got brain cancer the same time as Rick's dad and passed away. And everywhere she goes, she tells people about Jesus. She shares her story. And I mean, she's amazing. My little brother grew up to be a missionary to Peru. Yeah. And my youngest sister is a 911 operator in Oklahoma City. And has been for over 35 years. She was on the board when the bombing happened, the Oklahoma City bombing. She took those calls. And she's just an amazing Christian influence to hurting people who call,
Right,
and that's the four of us that my mom raised by herself.
Yeah, I mean.
And even though it was horrible what we went through, but yeah, there's just a huge release, and I know that my daddy's in heaven and I'll see him again, and
Amen.
It's just and if someone's done you wrong, I mean, one of the hardest things for me, Kristin, has been these church people that have hurt us, and there are even things that I don't know that he won't tell me. He says there are things people have said and done behind my back that I don't even know, and that's fine. I don't need to know. But it's been one of the hardest things for me to forgive them, because not only has it hurt him and his ministry, and we couldn't go on at those places, we had to leave.
Yeah.
There's no telling what damage was done to the people we had to leave behind. Now we're friends. I have over 2,000 friends on Facebook because we've been in churches, and I have friends all the way back to grade school, but we've left people behind, and people got left out, and people fell through the cracks. I know they have, because of what people did to us. And they're going to have to answer for that, and that's hard.
Yeah.
And when people do things to you, for anyone listening, one of the hardest things is to forgive, but you can only forgive if you give it to God. I can't forgive. Whoever's listening, you can't forgive. God can do it through you. And
Yeah.
and the main thing I would say is to pray for them, because it's hard to be mad and not forgive someone you're praying for. So just keep praying for them.
That's a huge key right there.
Keep praying for them.
Yeah.
We have to. We just,
Yeah. And especially, in our world right now, like everybody's everything. Everything's, so
yeah.
yes.
So, yeah.
Keep going. Well, let's make sure we talk about your authority. I like to say authority, the authority in books. Which, tell us about this journey to have you always written? Do you love writing? Is writing a challenge?
Nope.
What does it look like?
Totally.
When did you get your first book out the door?
We were in our late 60s,
Yep.
3 years ago.
It was just 3 years ago. Yeah.
See? People listen in.
Yeah. It's the product of our walk across America. We walked from Los Angeles, California to Washington, D.C., 20 miles a day, 6 days a week for 6 months, 2,770 miles. God told us to walk across America and claim our country for the Lord, to share our faith and pray for our nation. And we did. And we met hundreds of people. And really, the book is the stories of meeting those people. When we first started, we thought, this is my quotable quote for the day. When we first started, we thought the walk was about the steps. What we found out was that the walk was about the stops. The bus stops.
The pit stops.
The crosswalks.
The pit stops, yeah.
The hospitals.
The ditches.
I got admitted to.
Yeah.
Those things. I had horrible accident in Arkansas. Burned myself very badly. Went to the emergency room. We had just walked past that hospital the day before. And we would never have been allowed to go in the hospital and witness to the doctors and nurses. But when I burned myself, Jane took me to the emergency room. So I got to share with the nurses, the intake person, all the doctors, the specialists. They transferred me to the burn center in Little Rock. And I got to witness to all the people there. Our pastor met us there, who just happened to be in Arkansas. He met us here.
Our pastor from Ohio, who had been a huge supporter of the walk, helped us raise money. Church was praying for us every week. They had prayer meetings for us. I called his wife immediately, and she said, he's on a fishing trip. And I said, okay, well, can you get a hold of him? And he was in Arkansas on a fishing trip.
He actually beat us to the hospital in Little Rock. And so his dad was a powerful witness who was with him. They had shared with everybody in the waiting room about Jesus. I got to talk to the head doctor of the burn center. He was a wonderful Catholic man. We shared Jesus. We talked about Jesus. We had a little revival there in the room. And they said, you won't walk again for 2 weeks because of where the burns were. They said, you can't walk for 2 weeks. You'll do damage. This was on a Friday, and we were supposed to walk in Morrilton, Arkansas that day. So Saturday was Jane's birthday. I went home, went to bed. We just got up a couple hours, went to eat. I couldn't put pants on or anything regular ones. I had to wear big, baggy pants.
And like hospital pants.
Sunday, we stayed in.
So only Sunday we didn't go to church on the walk.
And Monday morning, I got up and I said, I'm going to walk. I don't know how far I'm going to walk, but I'm going to walk. And so we started in Morrilton, Arkansas, but we started a couple hours late because of all the stuff that was happening with my body. And we started walking through Morrilton, and we ran into a man at a car repair shop who was standing outside working on a car. His name was Jeff. And so I stopped and I started to talk to Jeff about Jesus. He wasn't a Christian. Before we left, Jeff had accepted Christ as his Savior.
Aww.
Now, here's the twist. Had we walked on Friday morning at 7:00, Jeff's shop wouldn't have been open.
It was closed.
We'd have walked right on by.
We'd have walked right on by. Because we were there at 9:00 instead of 7:00, he was outside. And I tell people that God has promised to take everything and use it for his glory and for our good. Yeah. And that is really tough sometimes. Anyway, the book came out of that walk and all those experiences.
Yeah.
People kept saying, you got to write a book. You got to write a book. I wasn't a writer.
Okay.
Jane had journaled all the way across America, written the name of every person we talked to.
I did. I wrote
every mile we walked. And I took her journals, and it took several years, 16 years.
16, amazing. Oh my God.
To finally get it into a book.
And finally, 3 years ago, we released it. It's called And So We Walked.
And so we
It's been a
walked.
bestseller about
Oh,
10 times over the last 3 years on Amazon.
oh,
And
wow.
it's been an amazing trip. You don't make any money with that, by the way. We sold, I think we sold,
With books.
I think we sold 10 books the other day, and I said we made 63 cents.
Yeah.
Who
I
cares?
mean, right?
That's just people. So it started a journey for us. We just published our 9th book, and we've
Your
got
ninth book?
Yeah.
we've
Okay.
got another one coming out at the end of the year.
Yeah.
About my
So the first one, there was definitely it took some time, but have you felt like every time you
Yes.
write a book, it just becomes
Leads to something.
easier
Yes.
to do?
Easier and
Yeah.
just leads to
Leads
something
to the
else.
next thing.
Well, the thing we did next was called Sharing Jesus Without Saying a Word. And it's nonverbal ways to share Jesus. It was just a little short book. And then we wrote a big book called Till the Whole World Knows. And it's a thick book that's full of servant evangelism and ways to touch people's lives and things that you can do, either talking or not talking, getting an elevator speech, a 1-minute speech you can give to somebody in the elevator about Jesus, things to notice about them. Are they wearing a cross or crucifix? If they are, you can start a conversation. Oh, I see you're wearing a cross. Does that mean something to you? Do you believe in that? Yes or no? And then that opens up a whole conversation. So we wrote a couple books about witnessing and sharing. We've written some devotional books. We just released one about spiritual maturity, about demolishing strongholds and having quiet times and witnessing and sharing. So we love it. And it's a lot of fun.
And now we're getting ready to go away for a week for our anniversary. Sunday, we'll be married 52 years. We're getting ready to go away for a week. Make him finish his book on his dad because his dad has such an interesting life. Yeah.
So you're gonna get to finish it.
It's almost done.
It's almost done. It is.
My dad's name was JC. Both of his parents were illiterate. So when the nurse came in and asked my grandmother what she wanted to name my dad, she said JC. Well, she didn't know how to spell it or how to write it. We don't know what she
It
meant.
might have meant Jesse. We don't know.
Nobody knows. They had a good
knows.
friend named Jesse. But anyway, the nurse just wrote on the birth certificate JC. No periods.
No periods, no
Just
middle name.
Two letters.
Two letters.
So all my life, my dad had this unique name. And whenever he would introduce himself to people, he would say, I'm J.C. McKinney. No name, just initials. And that was like his calling card.
Yeah.
So that's the name of the book. No name, just initials.
Wow. I love it.
Isn't that cool? Yeah.
They're amazing. Oh my goodness. I will probably have to have you back again another time and share more. There's more stories here.
All kind of stories.
We'll do like part 2
Okay.
someday down the road.
Okay.
You guys are just full of so much goodness. Thank you for continuing to walk, literally, like walk this out, I say like a lot of our stories, we've walked through the fire and we keep going and we come out with keys on the other side to share with people, right? So thank you for continuing on. You're both just like precious, if I can say that. So before we wrap up today, can we for sure, I know I'm going to capture your Facebook pages and put them in the show notes, and I'll also put your links to your books. But is there a great place for somebody to contact you? Website, email?
Yeah, website's easiest and it's very simple. rickandjanemckinney.com.
Okay, sounds good.
There's lots of stuff there. Our books are there, but the main thing is there are stories, there are pictures of all the places we've been, Tibet, China, Mexico. There are videos and pictures about the walk. I write a blog once a month. There's just lots of information there about our lives and that sort of thing. And then, of course, all of our books too. So,
okay,
good. We'd love, and there's a place there they can contact us directly.
Sure.
Okay, perfect. Well, I'll link that in the show notes too. And then before we fully wrap up, if you just have like either one of you can both share too, but if you have just any other words of wisdom or encouragement that you'd want to share with, I do this for the one, if you could get in mind that one that's listening in today, do you have anything else that you'd want to say to that person to help them keep on their walk?
Probably the main thing I would like to say is that no matter how old you are or how young, God is never done with you. No matter where you've been, what you've done, He will continue to have a plan for you. We are in a completely different season than we ever dreamt of. I didn't go to school to be a school teacher. I went to school to sing. And it's just amazing that God has opened this opportunity for me to minister to high school students who love me.
Oh.
And they call me grandma, and they give me hugs, and they wait for me in the hall to see which room I'm going to be in that day. And I know it's just amazing. And I get to share Jesus and be Jesus. And God's never done with you.
Yeah.
This is a public school, by the way.
Public school.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're in Kentucky. It's a little freer than some, but
Sure.
it's an amazing opportunity. And just,
Well, mine's not nearly as long as that.
I'm
But
sorry.
Oh, you're good. You are good.
I mean, this is just so basic.
Yeah.
But what I'd want to leave with anybody who's listening is loving Jesus and serving Jesus is the highest calling that humans have.
Mhm.
And whether it seems like it or not at the time, it's worth it.
Mhm.
Andre Crouch, I don't know if you know that name or not, but he was a contemporary singer back in the 60s and 70s, African-American, wrote some great, great songs like Through It All and My Tribute. Just a great,
If heaven never was promised to me.
that's what I was going to talk about.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
I'm sorry.
He had this song, If Heaven Never Was Promised to Me.
Oh.
And heaven's wonderful. I'm looking forward someday to being there. But
Mhm.
honestly, if heaven never were promised to me,
Mhm.
I'd still love him and I'd
Mhm.
still serve him.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Praise. There's so many times you're going to get me crying too. If you guys are not watching, please go watch the video. These two are literally precious. Thank you for both sharing your hearts today. I am going to, again, have to have them back, but I do want to close. I actually have to close things up, and I'm going to close with our Hope Unlocked anchoring verse. And it's, may the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace in believing, so that by the power of the Holy Spirit, you may abound, just love abound in hope. And that's Romans 15:13. So thank you both for being brave voices who are setting so many free. I will be back with another episode next week. Thank you, listeners. Bye.